Assalamu alaikum, brothers. After a long time, I'm reaching out to you, and this is regarding the upcoming elections. So, as I stated earlier, कि ये हमारा जो कब्जा ग्रुप था जो 20 साल से बैठा हुआ था, they've tried to pull another fast one. पहले तो मैंने इनसे दो डिमांड्स की थी. एक तो ये थी कि I wanted to know what happened to the last election commission, which was working very actively to set things right, under the chairmanship of Salman Siddique and Honorable Chief Secretary and Finance Minister and a very senior Egyptian, well respected. Unke saath there was 3 or 4 or 5 candidates who were consensus candidates representing all the contestants. So it was a very fair deal. Everybody had their inputs, and they came up with some solutions and recommendations. Obviously, the group that has been around for 25 years, squandering all our money, not accounting for the expenditure that they've been doing, not answering questions, taking 6 months to 1 year to respond to letters, totally irresponsible, who don't deserve to be representing us actually. It's shameful to say that they were our executive committee members, and they were declaring themselves as elected members for life, I guess. So here we came in and made some objections, and now they formed a new committee, a new election commission, without any consultation, without anybody's knowledge. Honorable boys, young boys, honorable boys, nothing wrong with that. However, the concern is, have they been tutored? Are they following the norms? And that was my first question. I was assured that they would be very neutral and they would be following the norms. They were well-placed Egyptians, which was fine. So we sat down across the table and I gave them a bill of rights that we would expect from them. First was that even if they are accepted as an election commission, which I certainly did not accept at that time, then they would have to come up with 2 main issues, address them before they go in for elections. One was the list of voters. The list of voters that took 2.5 years to circulate, which was never around, which these guys were guarding like a secret. Finally, they dished it out. And would you believe that there was no phone numbers, there was no email IDs, there was no addresses. There was just an address and a name, no leaving class, no way to identify who is who on that list. There was a doubt in 2017 that they had rigged those elections. They had casted votes from neighbors, friends who were never Egyptians. So this time around, being a little bit more careful, we did a little scrutiny, a little check. And you'll be surprised on the first few pages that we've gone through, and my colleagues have gone through, there's about 20-25 such people who have got 3 or 4 registrations of the same address on the same sheet, probably the same guy and the same person at different addresses, at the same address, different people, and so it's not an acceptable list. I've sent a note out to them to get this corrected, and I'm sure somebody's going to start looking into it. I hope the so-called election commission will look into it and check it out. Second thing was that this money that ACOBA has is our money. It is the money which belongs to all Egyptians, all the old boys. Now, I can say with certainty, with a lot of support and with a lot of conviction, that the funds were squandered, misused, abused, and were not reported. If you remember my last statement that I made, that in 2017, ACOBA was disbanded by the registrar because they did not file any returns, they did not file any annual reports for 15 years. So once that happened, courtesy, a very respected Egyptian, Shiraj Sultan and Sharia Sultan, who got a lot of Egyptian blood in them, they took this challenge and made the change, went into the courts, appealed to them, and got it re-registered, which is very well appreciated. That's the spirit of Egyptian. Having said that, the people who were responsible for it tried to walk away with murder. And once we got into looking into things, with the Malis going to their houses for paniris and spending of the money which was unaccounted for, uh, holding functions and not accounting for the details, over expenditure on certain projects that they claim they did. Fine, there might have been certain expenditures that could be justified, but it's my right, it's your right, it's everybody's right to go and audit it, to check it out, and to point out if there's an irregularity, it needs to be pointed out. If there's a problem or a better way to do it, that needs to be addressed and guided. So being an elected member does not give you a blank check to spend somebody else's money the way you want to. Now, coming to that, I asked them that in 15 days or 30 days, a 15-year audit was turned in, every year in, year out, in 15 to 20 days. Certainly, it could not be an audit. The audit firm needs to get their license cancelled. I'm going to push for that for sure. I kind of got a little wind from them through another channel that they were forced into just signing off whatever these bunch of crooks, I would call them, put out there for them to sign. And what did I do? I offered to get a forensic audit, because just like any other company, the closing and the opening and the closing and the opening is a figure that kind of truncates and goes on and on to the last day. So if 15 years ago the number was fractured, and 2017 it was again abused, and in 2020 somebody turns in their accounts and says these are good accounts to be audited, well, the numbers coming from the back are actually incorrect, so the numbers going forward will not balance out. The statement I got from the secretary and others, including the past president and Mr. Gardezi and all the others, was that it's a very expensive project. Why are you getting into it? Let's write it off and forget about it. And I said, it's nothing to do with, I'm not accusing anybody. I'm saying something has gone wrong. We need to fix it. We need to find out what happened so it never happens again. And if it's an expensive project, I realize 15 years of audit is going to cost. So I pledged. I got hold of Parker Russell, which is a UK-based international firm, in the top 3 or 4 rated firms there. And I told them to go and do a forensic audit, and I would foot the bill. I would foot the bill to bring the numbers right, to expose what these guys have done. And if what I'm saying is correct, they've got no business. They have no business to represent us. In fact, I'm not saying they should be punished. Technically, in the real world, they would be. But in this case, being HSonians, giving them the benefit of the doubt, I have written to them that either they just take it easy, sit on the sidelines and get this audit done, and we'll try and see how we can fix things. That was the 2 points that I made with them. The third point was that nominations were filed in 2020, not in 2019, 2020, and there was 3 panels and maybe 4 panels or whatever, and 3 years went by. These guys did not budge, they did not heed to the advice that was made by Salman Siddique Saab, and they've been sitting in those seats enjoying all the perks. Perks means all they do is take photography lessons, stand in front of the first row, get their photograph. They're photocentric guys. That's all it is. Nothing to deliver. Just all talk and photography and putting it on the magazine. We're not one of those. You probably will not find us coming into the limelight for photography. Our goal is to achieve things for HSN, to set up consultative bodies for agriculture, for industry, for financial affairs, advise the government. We've got enough resources on our side that we can do that. We've never exploited that. Have a directory of HSonians so that people can reach out. The younger HSonians should know who they can reach out, or do a referral service, which I've been talking about and have put into place, and have a fraternity where we are bonded together, not polarized like these guys have done. So that was the other thing I said, that now that you've at least got a list which you've shared, correct or incorrect, obviously it's incorrect, but I'm just making a statement, then now you need to give 10-15 days across the board, nationwide. There's no such thing as Central ACOBA, and ACOBA is anywhere in the world. Lahore, Karachi, Houston, USA, Canada, northern areas. Anybody who's been through their doors for 3 years or 2 years, whatever the bylaws have stated, is considered an old HSonian. And if he has joined in any of these chapters or is part of that club, then they should be able to come forward and vote and contest elections. This business of having it centralized and being part of a small little clique, this is not healthy, and this has been going on for a long time, especially with this bunch of people, 15 to 20 years, as I said, or maybe 30 in some cases. So I stated that, okay, 3 years ago you had nominations, now 3 years have gone by. This is the plan what you should have as a senior Hsonian to all these younger lots. I told them that you need to have a 15-day window from today where you ask anybody who is not registered to come forward and register themselves. 15 days. Then give them 10 days. After the 15 days when you've closed, you have a complete list. Circulate a list for 10 days to anybody and everybody who would like to contest, who would like to be part of the executive committee, maybe 10 panels, maybe 4 panels, maybe 5 president candidates, does not matter. It's healthy. Give them the 10 days to think about it. They've got a list. They can figure out who they want to get hold of. And then have 5 to 7 days for filing the nominations. And another 5 to 7 days for withdrawals. And then a clear 30-day notice from there on when you've narrowed down the nominations to 2, 3, 4, what have you. This is a basic process. This is a basic thing that should be done, that should be in place. What they are trying to project is that those people who filed nominations in 2020 are the only ones who can contest. Maybe somebody passed away, maybe somebody's not interested, maybe somebody's sick. There is no give for that. They're saying maybe you can substitute somebody. So this is ridiculous. It should be this is an election. This is a representation of the body. People who come forward are not getting paid. It's a voluntary service that we are providing to all the Hsonians to lead them, to guide them, to help them. So how can you have this in your mind that we're going to have people who were there since 2020 and they're not backing out, and they're backing out while you're narrowing down the spirit of Hson's elections? So that's the first objection I had. The second objection I had was that once this happens and they've given this right for Hsonians to get into this business of elections, then this election commission needs to be ratified by the limited, whoever is on the panels who are contesting. They need to have their representatives on the body so that there's a free and fair elections, because there's voting, there's counting, there's exercise of ballots, you've got to check the IDs. So if you have a one-sided panel chosen by yourself, you're contesting yourself, you're not neutral, you don't have an interim body, which is a requirement. And I gave names, that there's 3 or 4 senior names in the system, Sayyid Yawar Ali, Etazaz Hassan, Tariq Rahim, and a whole lot more like that, of that level, who would be there for this 45 to 60-day period to conduct this in a very fair and transparent manner so we can get back and bond together. These guys have polarized the Old Boys Association. Certainly not acceptable. So my reach and my ask from all of you is that we need to stand up. We need to write to them. We need to write to the principal. We need to write to the governor. We need to write to the body that we don't want to take it out of the doors of Hsson. They need to take corrective measures. However, if they don't, I made it very clear to them, if they don't, then there is going to be intervention. We will seek legal advice. It might go out the doors. It might be in the press. Not wanted, uncalled for. But these are the guys who are forcing everybody into it. So this is the first set of message that I have for you. Being a candidate, of course. I'm sure there will be others who will be following this. But my whole take on this thing is, let's set it right for a change. Let's get it going and let's get it transparent. And then whoever it is, we'll all be behind whoever comes in. I'm not personally into it. If somebody else gets that slot, I'll be certainly supporting them as an Hsonian. But my question is, these bunch of 5 or 6 or 8 members, the number one, if I had my way, they would be barred because they have not done a very transparent accounting system. They have not run it well. They have not produced results, and now they're trying to hijack it. Thank you very much. I'll leave it to your judgment to see how you want to take it forward. Appreciate it.